Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DoorDash LCO. If you haven't grabbed your dinner, please, exclamation DoorDash in chat and get yourself something scrumptious because I just had my dinner and I'm full and energized and damn ready for a big game. It is going to be Pentanet and Legacy going head-to-head for game number 3 of the evening, and it should be a banger because Legacy generally seem to do pretty well against Pentanet, mostly because they have some crazy damn picks in Champ Select that always seem to throw Pentanet off guard here or there, but Pentanet usually end up taking the dub. Actually, I think they've taken the dub every time so far, or has there been one win for Legacy, Rusty?
Oh, thank you for that one. Let me have a look. It is 0-2.
I'm glad we were all ready for that. I was just making a statement and thought, hang on, who was it that beat Pentanet again? I can't remember, even though it was a banger game. But I'm keen to see how this one goes. Skimmy, what are you doing? You good? You comfy?
I'm good. I was just distracted by the idea of what you had for dinner because as much as we say from the fans, send your content, I want to know what you ate, mate. So, you know, maybe give the fans at home a little bit of suggestions.
True. We haven't got a lot of content, so please take a photo of what you're eating right now, even if it's, you know, maybe your fingernail. Maybe don't send that one in.
Don't send that.
Yeah, you know, people do it. Man, I don't know. They could be eating something much more dangerous than that, but still, let's talk Legacy first here in the matchup. So far, so good for them. They did manage to get one in last week, but it looks like Sybil is back to play, Rusty.
Yeah, Sybil back. I mean, this is the standard roster for Legacy, and why not had a very good showing for himself. I think that's fair to say. I think he was like 5-0 when he's in Italy at some point there. Only a couple of small mistakes overall, but Sybil is the man who finds the angles and the man who can get it done when no one else even knows what they're doing anymore. So bring him back, bring in the main roster, and that's what you like to see from Legacy, because this is that point of the season where they will be the most desperate for a win here, right? They need the Ws as soon as possible, and this would be an upset, yes, but it would put them one step ahead of their competitors for that 5th place spot.
It certainly may, and it certainly may not. We'll see how it goes. However, battle of the two teams. Pentanet are pretty damn good, and they're pretty damn good looking as well, Skimmy.
Handsome individuals, aren't they? Certainly, you know, they're lying though with some of these portraits because the hair color has changed once again. It's no longer the green curtains, it's now the pink boo that kind of graces us with his presence now in the jungle. So clearly, they're going to try and make a statement, and they have been, right, in the league. 9 wins in a row now, translating that across multiple patches, metas, and so on and so forth. So it really is the MSI champions that we sort of sent across overseas that have come back with a bang. And you really start to wonder, right, when a team is on a tear like this, they've had a good week of practice with scrims and whatnot. Maybe they've had a really good read on the meta as well. And it just makes it very hard to try and derail them. So you wonder when that defeat will come, or if we are going to have a bit of a split one reunion where it was nearly the perfect split.
Well, I guess I'll ask the same question as I've asked for the other 2 games. With patch 11.15 coming through this game, are we going to see anything more interesting than what we're used to seeing between both these teams, Rusty?
I mean, I think we've got to generalize what this patch provides. We're looking at supports and how aggressive they are. Decoy is a Leona player for like the last million games in a row, so definitely in his wheelhouse of playing more aggressive champions. It's possible. I would say that it is not too likely, especially because they continue to force bans, being on blue side, picking Leona for themselves pretty easily. We won't see anything crazy from them. Legacy are the ones that have pocket picks, Mac, but they are very rarely pulling those out.
Cool. Well, Rusty, I need to ask you, how well do you know me? What do you think I had for dinner?
Usually a burrito.
Oh, close. There's another word that goes with that, and it had no wrap on it this time.
Bowl?
Yes. Oh, we're pretty much brothers at this point.
Mate's
anyway,
smirking, isn't he?
Let's have a look at this one. It's Pentanet asking one another how well they know each other.
Do you know your teammates? With Pentanet.gg. Ooh, now this is a decision. If you're talking about like naturally, there's only one answer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is only one answer.
And, okay, like if I was like thinking about like my own personal attraction.
Just write the f***ing answer, man.
No, I'm writing it, but I'm thinking, man, I honestly think it's me. Like, no cap. Like I'm just saying, it would have to be me.
Yeah, be humble.
Be humble. You know, I tried to.
I did me, so.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're pretty attractive, Brandon. You guys good?
Yeah, I'm good. Ready? Sheesh. Has to be you. It has to be you.
What'd you say? I said Chaz
Yeah, it has
slash
to.
me.
You.
I know I
What
say.
do you mean?
I know I say a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like we'll be in a team fight. I'll be like calling out useless stuff.
No.
Really loudly.
It would be
There is
Jesse, then Mark, then
Really?
everyone else is irrelevant. I'm not even joking. It's not even comparable.
Sometimes you overcomplicate things, like when you get really hyped up, but like me and Mark just
Yes,
totally
like
useless
you
shit.
can't even compare. No way it's Mark. You can't say it's Mark.
But I have to lane
Don't
with
leak
them.
the answers, man.
Mate,
I
I'll
haven't-
leak you.
I haven't
How about
finished
that?
writing it.
I'm sick of you.
I don't.
Oh my god.
What was the answer? We didn't get to see the bloody answer again. Why do they keep doing this to us? It looks like there's going to be a part 2 probably after the game, so you're going to have to watch the whole game, and then afterwards you might get the answer, and then a little bit of extra stuff going into the break, but we're nowhere near that because we've got a game to get through, and to get to the game, we've got an interview to get through too, so we've got to bring Nat back in from the side lanes to figure out who the hell she's talking to for the pre-game.
Before I head over, I do want to say that video has made me miss interviewing Biopanther so much, man. I cannot wait until I can interview him again. But I am, I guess, going to have the consolation prize of getting to interview Praedith and Sybil. Thank you both so much for joining me. Sybil, I want to start with you. You know, we saw Why Not come in last week, and I want to ask you for, I guess, your viewpoint or opinion on his performance, and if it's inspired you for maybe any new champs or playstyles in the jungle.
No, I'm not feeling inspired to play different champs because I do think like he's got his own style and like champ pool and stuff, and I don't feel particularly like pushed in a direction to play differently. But it did inspire me to like play better, because obviously if I was playing better in these games that we were losing, that I think we'd be winning. So it's made me want to play better, and I think because of that, like in the past when I get subbed, it's kind of nothing but demotivating. But this time it was like, I don't really care. I'm just going to try and play better and then show that I own the spot.
I love to hear it. Does that mean that the roster over on Legacy is feeling pretty confident and pretty motivated coming into this game today?
I think so. I mean, it's probably a bit annoying to play with different junglers as a laner and stuff, because the jungle is pretty pivotal to the team. So it might be a bit annoying to play with different ones. You'd probably just rather have the one. But for me, I'm feeling pretty confident, and I'm feeling pretty happy with like how the team's playing it as well. So yeah.
That's great to hear. Praedith over on what? I can't even say it acronym right. Over on PGG. Look, I'm the one that's struggling over here. How are you guys feeling for today's game, and where's the confidence at?
First of all, you definitely don't want to be interviewing Biopanther. That guy's a problem. I'm probably going to ban him from interviewing on screen ever again. But yeah, like it's just the same as the last 2 weeks. We're just coming in. It feels like another day. It feels like we're just going to go play some games with the boys. So like, yeah, just gonna have some fun. Probably win. Who knows?
I love to hear it. Do you think there is going to be much change in your champ pool or the way you guys are playing with this new patch that's coming in?
Yeah, definitely. Like this patch has changed a lot for pretty much every role. Definitely my role too. Just depends like how we want to draft and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, I think like throughout the week you'll see us all playing new shit.
I look forward to it. And quickly, Sybil, same sort of question. Is there going to be too much new things that we're going to be seeing out of Legacy, champ-wise or playstyle?
You'll just see. You'll just see.
That's it. Oh, look, the only way we're going to find out is, I guess, if we get into the game. So thank you both so much for joining me, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
There you have it. So good to hear from the boys again. Low-key burn on the way in, Nat. You've got to stop doing that. You might offend someone at one point in time. All right, and they're going to say something back to you, and then it's going to turn into a fight, and then we're going to see some hands go up, and then we'll have another show match on our hands, which could happen in playoffs.
That's true. Another show match would be very interesting. But I will say everything I say to the players, I fully expect to have the potential turned back on me. So I don't say anything that I'm not willing to cop back. So that's not an invitation to be mean to me in interviews, by the way. I'm just saying, if someone were to think of something fire, Go right
Spit
ahead.
the fire.
Hit it with it. Now, I'm going to hit you with the predictions as well. Game 3, which way are we swinging? I'm expecting to see a whole lot of PGG here. Rusty, Skimmy, the leaders of the pack, are both going for that. Jump over to page numero duo. Let's see what Nat has decided to go for. Oh, she's on the same damn bandwagon as the rest of everyone. So today, we have gotten absolutely nothing to separate the pack at all. Everyone picking all the same stuff. I think I'm the only one that's got one prediction wrong because I put a lot of Twitch points on a team in Twitch chat. Now, there you have it. So anything to say about this one? I guess I'll ask Nat, what do you think Legacy's chances are of actually winning this matchup today?
I want to put it closer than a lot of people might give them credit to. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's 80% in favor of PGG, only 20% to Legacy. I want to say it's about a 60-40 split. I do think there is a higher motivation over on the Legacy side. And again, new patch, maybe they are working on something we've never seen. We don't know what happens in scrims, right? So new patch, a lot of new champs. I mean, we've got the new champ, Akshan as well, enabled. So maybe they pick him up and maybe PGG don't know how to deal with him.
Well, I got one more question before we do get in towards Champ Select. And if I gave all of you $100 to use on DoorDash to get yourself dessert, what would you buy? And
Ice
you have
cream.
to spend as close to like $100 as possible.
Oh, ice cream, and then there's like a really cool bakery around me that does the most amazing cupcakes.
Okay. What about you, Skimmy?
As many servings as apple pie as I can get, mate.
I love that one. We'll
Love
make
me some
a
apple pie.
huge apple pie out of it. You know, go back to what's that cooking show on YouTube? The one from back in the day where they make the big egregious things.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I forget the name.
I think I missed out. I'm going to have to go hunt that one down.
It's probably something real easy.
The one that says bacon strips?
Bacon strips, yes, with the duck sound.
We all know it, right? We all know it.
Bacon
But
strips.
I definitely don't.
They made really gross things, but it was
bacon.
awesome.
Well, you tell me quickly what you would do with $100, Rusty, and I'll find the answer quickly.
I would probably get a pavlova and put as many amazing ingredients on the top of it as possible to make up the 100.
Epic meal time. That's
So
what it
really,
is.
That's it.
Rusty's just spending $90 on fruit and $10 on the pavlova base.
But it'd be so
Yeah.
good.
There better be some kiwis on that one there, mate.
Okay. So I'm enjoying that. Let's see if we got a head-to-head here. Let's see if there's some Kiwis on that one. It looks like it's mid lane, so nah, unfortunately not. In Curzio as well as Chaz. But let's talk about these poses. Curzio. Oh, he's gone for the Thanos click, and we got Chaz. What's that? Is that like a come here?
No, that's like the love heart. That's the Korean cutie up against the Thanos.
He's doing that very wrong, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it on the side angles. If he's like holding a gun on the sideways, like he's been watching too many movies, isn't he?
What is
you know what? It's a love heart that they do in Korea.
When we come back to cameras, we'll show you.
Make the same pose as him, Mac, and then turn it upright. So you got both fingers pointing up. That's a heart.
The peace sign is out of the meta. It's now all about this.
And he's doing it, and the camera's
It's
going
a heart. Can we just come back to us?
Like, like with the two veins poking out like a real heart, not a love heart.
No,
Like
love
that.
heart.
Yeah, just like that.
See, it looks like a little love heart. That's the
It's like
dip.
it's a very lame love heart. It's like it doesn't
Just
fit
offended the
easier.
entirety of
Doesn't sit
Asia,
right.
right?
Yeah, man, you just heard a whole bunch of stands that you did not want to be on the wrong side.
Yeah,
of.
you definitely just aggroed an army.
That's all right. That's it.
If that one makes it to Reddit, bro.
This is mini shaka. This is mini shaka. It's like, ew. You know, that's what that is. But you guys are just trying to change it up, say it's a love heart. Stupid. That's stupid.
No,
I
this is only
I don't
2
care if you think it's
fingers.
love heart.
Oh, no, mate.
Hey, Champ Select's ready.
I'm just letting
Let's
that one
go.
sit there.
See you later. Get me off here before everyone hates me.
Bye.
Oh, dearie me. Well, on that little bombshell, let's jump into the Champion Select and talk about Pentanet taking on Legacy, because I think, would you say it's fair to say, Rusty, that the teams at the top of the table right now are going to take less risks in the draft, probably stick to the comfort like we saw with Direwolves, but the teams like Legacy fighting for that final spot are going to be much more keen to try and bust out some new strategies on this patch?
Yeah, I think that like is partly true. In the same vein, though, the bottom teams who are looking to find the wins because they need the wins now, Skimmy, I would say are just as likely to play things that are standard to them, right? Because you want to still be in your comfort zone.
Sure.
And maybe a game like this against PGG, where you could come into this and say, if we win, it's an upset by default, you might do something different, right? You might throw a curveball, but I think you still want to be grounded with your comp overall, like embedded in comfort or known quantities. So I wouldn't expect anything too crazy, but I think you're absolutely correct. As per Direwolves for PGG.
How cool is this, though? That's what got me gasping a second, is we've got 2 bands on either side towards the bottom lane. If you look at the both bot laners, they've exclusively been playing these with a sprinkle of Ezreal on either side. So seems like bot lane is definitely the focus, and we have to wonder where that does go now as a result as to opening up this drafting phase. We start to dive deep into some new champions like Xayah that did get a bit of a buff to the Featherstorm, being a little bit easy to try and utilize now. Kalista, as you say, definitely being a very lane-dominant champion, but struggling a little bit when it comes to the mid and late game. Curious to see where it goes, but it will open at least with a Tahm Kench that we've seen Bio already play.
Yeah, I'd like a Leona maybe here from Emelga, though he is preferential to the Nautilus, so we'll see exactly what their second pick becomes. The Xin Zhao pick is obviously powerful. I'm a big fan of it, for Sybil in particular, but for a lot of our junglers, that's abstract. We've got a Tahm Kench on the other side, just quickly skimmy as well. That is the Biopanther special. Not a lot of things are going to beat him now. So PGG have started with an absolute island top lane, and they can consolidate with whatever they would like into bot. And I mean, you've kind of opened the gates with a Seraphine.
No. They said we're locking in Seraphine, and then Decoy's just like, sweet as, we're running it straight back to week 1. We're just playing hyper carry scaling champions. They hit a few buttons, and we just win the game from there. Now, if they look in a rail, that makes things even more interesting, because is there a world in which Incursio...
Oh, God. No, there's no world. Does Incursio play it? A Katarina and a Yone player picking up Seraphine?
Can you imagine?
Well, I can't, and that's the issue. If he does, I'll be shocked. Legacy as a team, it should be styled playing this Seraphine. Seraphine Rel is not the most standard bot lane that I've ever said together in a sentence. But there's a world where it goes mid, who knows? Gibby?
It'd be a lot of CC. Certainly would be a lot of CC between the two of them, so I'm very curious to see how this could look to try and punish the already revealed bot lane of PGG. Let's talk about the next few bans that could potentially come on through. Dun has been taken away from Legacy. We know that Pub has had a big tendency to play it when the opportunity arises. But the Gwen, despite a lot of changes, and even play has been quite vocal today about how it's been nerfed, still is finding its foot, at least in the ban phase for priority.
Yeah, same thing with the Viego. I mean, yeah, they've been nerfed. They're still powerful champions from their kit alone. The funny thing about competitive League of Legends compared to solo queue is the utility of champions from some of the spells they have do more than enough work to keep them relevant. Tahm Kench was one of those cases where no matter what happened, no matter how many times you nerfed that pick, he still had a W, he still had a Devour, and thus he was still permanently picked the entire time. Of course, that has been changed, but the same can be spoken for the Viego and for the Gwen, who have just insane champion kits.
Certainly do. I was actually locked in place looking at Legacy cams, so you can see a whole host of players cracking up. They must be realizing, oh, I wonder what Twitch chat's going to think about these picks that we've locked in so far. Now hovering a Mordekaiser and locking it in. Oh, Rusty, we've got something very special here tonight.
Welcome to patch 11.15. Legacy are literally your champion spotlight. They're just going to pick it all. Mordekaiser, it has to be top lane, into a Tahm Kench. All that I'm seeing right now is a need for some more physical damage and some scaling damage across the board. So that Mord could do a Nash's Tooth build if he wants. He could try and handle a Tahm Kench by himself. It's going to be absolute pain to deal with, but it's there. Mordekaiser can do it. You've got what we assume is a Seraphine Rel bot lane and a Xin Zhao jungle. My answer is, I'm not saying it's a Katarina angle. It's possible, but it's probably not preferred into a Lulu. That would be painful. It would be, yeah, like a Yone for physical, a Yone for scaling damage. But again, if he is going in by himself and Decoy simply presses Polymorph, you lose. So there is going to be a lot of reliance on Legacy having the full team going in, the full team being relevant. And the Mordekaiser can also just ult away a Jinx or a Lulu.
Yeah.
And you do that, you know, you ult away the Lulu, who's going to save little old Praedyth stuck then with the Yone, Seraphine, Rel, and Xin Zhao running at you.
They certainly do have a bit of a composition, don't they, Legacy, that can upset the party. I mean, it seemed a little bit far-fetched. I was wondering for about 1%, maybe 1%, as to whether or not that would be a Seraphine mid, but yeah, as you say, a Yone player like this, he's not going to want to try and move to the Enchanters if he can afford it. So Sybil almost seems like a match made in heaven, that he is going to find that very aggressive champion that can look to try and dive in deep. The Encore from Seraphine, her ultimate, could actually be quite clutch in looking to find those massively, or kind of deceptively long-ranged engages to allow the rest of the pieces of the puzzle to come together. A couple of buffs I did see from the patch notes, at least in 14 and 11. Bigger shield and a bit more extra AP ratio. So potentially we're just getting ourselves not the return of the mages in the conventional way that we fought.
The thing with Rel in bottom lane as well, right, is often the AD carry that you're with needs to be a little bit more self-reliant, because Rel is kind of a one-punch champion early, and if you make a mistake, you get punished big time because your movement speed is like literally 300, and they just run you down slowly but surely. So it's a risky lane. Seraphine provides a form of ranged engage, it provides a form of backup, and it also provides a bit of movement speed for the Rel to find angles or disengage if mistakes were made. So I get where it's coming from and how it can help their composition because they have engage from bot. They also have some nice movement speed to enable Sybil and Incursio. It's just so different. And you're against such a standard and good composition from PGG that they're going to have to kick this one off with a bang, big time.
Well, I raised the question at the start of the draft, would it be something standard from PGG and something crazy from Legacy? And I suppose really, here is your answer. It's as different as it really could be. Legacy looking to try and cause the biggest upset here to control their destiny and get themselves across the finishing line in what will be 4 very exciting, quite close games potentially to guarantee themselves that final playoff spot. It's our 3rd game of the night here to kick off week number 8. We're keen to see how this one will play out because we've yet to see a lot of these champions in a whole host of months.
Yeah, lots of potential for the high damage composition of Legacy through their top side of the map to start to snowball, get out of control in this game. Easier said than done, however, when you look at the opponents that they are staring down, both in name and in champion.
Welcome back, Charlie. Well, I mean, look, mate, let's talk about this draft first of all. It's really stunned us with some of the things that Legacy have put together. What do the boys make of it, given that you've gone for a fairly standard side on your end?
Yeah, we have definitely gone standard. I mean, I was surprised that we got both Tahm Kench and Lulu. We're very comfortable playing this like very reserved, like scaly 2-item spike, front to back style team composition, and we've pretty much got exactly what we wanted. But it's always scary when the enemy just randomly 1-2 something, because you know they're confident. You know they've come in today with a very clear plan. They're going to ban Kratos, 2 champions that he knows how to play, and they're going to pick Seraphine, and they're going to try and like neutralize our bot lane, right? So yeah, I'll be interested to see how the game plays out.
And do you think it's a fair statement to say that a lot of the teams at the top side now are a little bit more reluctant to show new things in this patch, looking to try and keep their cards close and say, this is standard, as you say, you're surprised that you got what you did, but, you know, get yourself across the finishing line, then all eyes goes towards playoffs and looking to try and find something spicy then?
Maybe for the other teams, I'm not too sure. We kind of just play what's best for every draft. We like to take every game super seriously. We want to secure that #1 seed, right? We clearly think Tahm Kench is a very broken champion, so we've just locked in Tahm Kench at the top of the draft. You'll see us doing it now, and you'll see us doing it in playoffs. But yeah, I really do like what Legacy have done, though, in terms of having a very specific strategy for them.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the team as a whole. 9 wins in a row now. You've basically translated that strength and momentum across multiple patches dating back to, what, 11-13. What do you really put that down to? Is it just the team coming together, maybe some of those early season fundamentals when you were experimenting?
Yeah, I think we lost a lot of the fundamentals when we tried to deviate our strategies away from what we're good at. I think we learned a lot along the way, but I think like our rise in the back half of the split was almost inevitable. You kind of see this pattern emerge in other regions as well. When the team goes to MSI, they get pretty burned out, pretty poor start to the split, then at the end we return to form. So pretty standard.
And on a final note, I've been asking all the coaches here tonight, 4 games left. You're up against Legacy obviously here today, Order tomorrow, Chiefs and Gravitas to round out the split. Is there a particular opponent that you think could really cause a little bit of an upset on a brand new patch?
Yeah, I'm excited to verse Order. They play a lot of the champions that are like up-and-comers. They've played the Brand, they're good at the Ziggs. Their jungle plays Graves. Like, I think it'll be a good match versus Order, especially considering they beat Chiefs. Like, if we beat Order, we can definitely like cement ourselves as the #1 seed going into the last week of the split. And yeah, that match will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see how it all plays out and finishes off for the season. Well, appreciate your time as always, Charlie. We'll crack on with the game and hope it's a good one.
No worries. Cheers, game.
Well, it's not very often that we do get these first bloods, is it, Rusty? But I do see a double kill Parbu. What's going on there?
Yeah, look, level 1 happened. It was a late invade by PGG. They had both mid laners come to the mix as well, so a lot of sacrifices here from both teams, and it was literally a burger flip. But PGG having the Chomp and Smite is a bit more reliable damage. If Sybil was going to steal this, he had to literally time it between the Chomp and the Smite. And Curzio, trying to walk back mid, also died. Bot lane, also died.
There was a kill on a replay. We'll turn it into live, and we're going to continue to look for a kill as Decoy now is literally up against Seraphine. 1v1, looking to try and get the kill, forcing out the flash. Galila Lance will not connect. And
Sybil,
now
no
Sybil
flash.
wants a bit of redemption. There's the zap down to 50. TP coming in, PGG backing him up. Predator has no mana, but he can deny their vision, and Chaz TP's down and picks up a kill.
That is painful. No. Poor Sybil.
No.
It's just losing. That level 1 was bad enough. Then he goes and gets his blue buff and the Gromp and gets himself level 2. And then once again, just gets killed going for the gank in bottom lane. Had no flash, had no way to close the distance to the Jinx and just gets kited. That is devastating. And I think devastating is the biggest understatement of all time. This is one of those angles where if I was playing solo queue, and I mean this, I would probably say go next in the chat and be tempted to AFK. I wouldn't. Because that'd be against the Summoner's Code, Skimmy.
Absolutely.
And we can't do that.
You wouldn't advocate for that at all.
No, never break the Summoner's Code.
You're an individual
But
that has the highest merit.
It pushes limits, you know?
Well, 88% once again in favor here of PGG. Feels like we've just basically mirrored from the game we had before into this one here. And whilst you'd imagine it to be a much more even affair, certainly hasn't got off to the start that they were looking for with the composition. It has a lot of creative tools and definitely could have some itemization in the likes of a Serpent's Fang that could look to tone down the strength of PGG.
I mean, yeah, it's necessary this game. Probably is going to be in Curzio that has to pick that one up, but the question is when. Maybe a shield bow into it would be the best course of action, because he'll definitely need the shield bow. We'll see. We'll see if it even gets to that point, given the way that this game has started. The trajectory is very much a downswing for Legacy. 5 minutes in, 2,000 gold down.
Well, Chaz is living in paradise right now. He's got himself a tier already, looking to try and stack that one up with aggression towards his lane opponent. Got himself a blue buff too, a very early one at just that, so he's cheated tempo in that own regard, so bit of a rare occurrence for him, but as a result, he's going to be able to look to try and utilize that range advantage to a good T. Now, I'm curious to see how this Mordekaiser fares into the Tahm Kench, because we've seen some varying ideas globally, with some people playing top Lilia as a response into it. Trundle sometimes being seen as well, but the Mordekaiser, I guess it's the battle of the shielding.
I love the idea of top Lilia with Conqueror as well. You just get to sit there and play in minion waves, and you have push against the Tahm Kench. He can't run you down, which is, you know, the way Tahm plays is slowly but surely he'll catch you. The W is obviously a tool to help navigate around that, but missing it's very dangerous. This top lane matchup, I do believe, is Tahm Kench favored until it isn't, which is usually, I would say, the thing is, like, I think there's a point in the game where Mordekaiser might be able to duel you 1v1, but I think if Tahm doesn't, like, outright lose a trade, he usually just wins the lane. It's such an oppressive champion.
At least from the trading patterns, you got the grasp for just for those cheeky little licks every so often versus the Conqueror all in nature that Winter will be hoping for. Riftmaker soon to come on through, and that could be a bit of a power spike to commit to the calls with. But as it stands, very early days, and the Dragon's going to be engaged here by PGG, but not without some kind of bite back here from Sybil, who is going to get polymorph. Flashing away there from the ulti of Enkosu, slingshot straight back and through the mid. There's a big jump on through as I don't know, they're going to try and turn the tides for this battle, but it's not going to be enough right now as Praetor is up against the World Wall, being burnt down by the passive of a Mordekaiser, still somehow surviving. Shielding is OP, and his health bar just doubled.
Yeah, Winter uses the ultimate. It may not have looked like it on your screens, but it was a 1v1 with Praetor. And Praetor just barely surviving for long enough for that 7 seconds to expire, and a Tahm Kench ultimate going to save him there. So another team fight going the way of PGG, and Curzio having to flash on the back end of this one as well. May have wanted to use that at the start of the fight, but they've got their measure. And Sybil, the level 4 Xin Zhao, thinks that he has a moment to engage here, but the rest of PGG are literally right there doing the dragon. So it goes awry. Unfortunately for Sybil, the pillar pushes him away, so when he flashes, it goes into the wall. And then this is that moment, you know, the time expires, the shield comes out, Tahm Kench devours, and unfortunately for Winterer, what could have been a kill, and a nice little start for something in the game for Legacy, not going to happen.
Not going to happen here just yet. And as a result, Rusty, whilst we talk about it being 6 kills to 0 and the gold lead well and truly in favour here for PGG, it's the CS advantages as well. The trading patterns that are really working in their favour as well. Close to one saving grace as you are looking at Incursio, at least finding a little bit of strength individually. But Parboot, he's running it down once again on the Trundle, and I have been watching some of the videos, and I like the little jokes they've got when I said that's a bit of a DoorDash pillar.
A bit of a DoorDash pillar, absolutely. A couple of those in the last team fight, Skibby. Might be working his way up the list of candidates for that DoorDash MVP, hey? Might be the answer. We've seen Trundle support in LEC.
Yeah, true, yeah.
If Decoy wants those MVPs, I mean, you do the math.
Very strong response, isn't it, into the Callista. Gonna have it here today. Incursio once again looking for the trading pattern, making sure that he overlaps. So when he slingshots back, he goes on through, but straight into a shockwave. And like my desk shakes, so does his screen, because he's dead and gone. Grey screen deleted. And Parbu comes on through to sneak that for himself.
Yeah, Chaz confident that he'll win the 1v1. Steps through the damage of Incursio to make sure the shockwave will hit. There was backup there just in case. But that's just the comms of PGG. You know, Chaz saying, I am absolutely taking this on. And the phase rush, right, is so clutch for just being able to casually list to the side of the Yone ultimate. And he gets himself the easy solo kill, really. Another plate to fall, PGG to build the gold lead. This could be the makings of one of the fastest games in the LCO if it continues on this path.
Scary to say it so early on into this game as we fast approach the 10-minute mark. The record to beat, actually, funnily enough, Rusty, I have you know, quickest game in the league is 23 minutes and 20 seconds, and that was between Pentnet and Legacy. So they're looking to do a bit of a speed run.
Was the fastest in Split 1 also theirs? Game 1 of the Split, right? 19 minutes something? I believe that was.
It's a good question. We'll never know, at least from a quick search here, due to the forfeit we had in that season. So I can't tell you off the top of my head.
They've got all the records is the real point there. I think that is most likely the case. Dragon up in 1:30, so a long while till anything needs to be contested. And I think if it continues with just laning, PGG are just winning. So things have to change. Something's got to give. Herald summoned. To be honest, it's probably too early to say this, Skimmy, but we're also looking at a potential perfect game.
Well, it could be. I suppose really what I'm looking for is how Legacy can make this composition work, because I'm very curious between the Encore, Magnet Storm, the amount of CC that those two provide from the bottom half of the map. What does that actually allow for the likes of Incursio and Winter to really provide into the team? Can they just instantly take somebody out of the fight within that small passage of play? Or will the likes of a Shockwave, Devour, as well as a Pillar, just be enough to you know, ruin the party?
Dibble's found himself a troll. He's wound up under the bridge. About to get chased down.
Well, he is running him down, isn't he? Dropping it down to 50%, popped the Subjugate, and made sure, get out of my swamp. Uh-oh.
Not enough. It's not going to be enough. There's no way. Simple was half health. Dare to dream. I mean, it is a full Kraken Slayer Jinx at that point. 11 minutes in, by the way. Full Mythic item completed.
Scary, isn't it? Really, really good pace made by him. So much so that he's like, I don't even need boots. I've got myself a Whimsy bot. That gives me movement speed, gives me attack speed, so that's just all in that regard.
Game continuing as normal, right? Mythic's done for 3 members here, honestly, so Dragon shouldn't be contested. Tower plates will continue to fall. That mid lane outer turret is actually just a stiff breeze from falling of its own accord. So you bring, yeah, I mean, you could do this. You bring everyone mid, break the turret for free. No need for a Rift Herald charge.
Interesting, Rusty. It's actually going to be the Anathema's Chain Rush here by Biopanther.
Wow.
We've seen variations, be it the Sunfire for Tenacity or the Frostfire Gauntlet for the extra size and rundown potential.
The Rush is curious, because it is a health item that works for Tahm Kench. But first, even before a component item, right? Like not even having any kind of Bramble Vest, which isn't going to be what he builds this game, but you know, those small component items that can do a lot, just not going to be seen at all. No Sunfire, not even full boots. So Mordekaiser probably not going to kill him, is the takeaway.
Oh, that's the all-in right there. Magnet Storm, Encore, and Incursio there to pick up the kill, protected by the supports. And there to empower a kill. 0-3 for Sybil so far. His ultimate is popped and he's immune to outside damage. He's certainly not immune to running back on through to look to try and steal away a crab for himself. He'll take the ultimate curse of falling down for it. But he got vision, Rusty.
But he got the crab. Don't ever say that Sybil does nothing for your Legacy. He's given you a ward. It will exist on the map. He has sacrificed his life for it, but the money from the crab, 100 gold in his pockets, we take those. And still, it is not going to be a perfect game is the other big takeaway, right? Now, I was going to say this when I brought it up. It was too early to bring it up in the first place, but there's no way Praedyth allows you to have a perfect game. There's just no way. He's not that type of player to sit back and be patient. He will step up, he will probably overextend, and he will require the team to save him. This time around, too many members of Legacy were there, and too many forms of engage exist also, so not going to be able to get out of that one at all.
Yeah, so much so that Cleanse wasn't even used in that occasion. It was held for a rainy day. Felt like an abundance of crowd control coming his way. Wasn't really worth it. In that occasion here. But I'm curious to see how this matchup continues topside because the Leeching Lair is there, so one of the components towards that Rift Maker, whether or not that will be enough sustain for him to go toe-to-toe with this Tahm Kench, we'll have to wait and see. Also, very curious to see if we can pan around to find where the Anathema's Chains has been targeted towards. If it is a case of Bio just roaming or just finding strength in his own individual 1v1.
I feel like if you're going to rush it, you would be putting it on Winterer at the very least now. The question changes outside of laning phase, right? But there's no reason to rush it to not put it on a Mordekaiser during the lane, and I don't think a 0-4 Xin Zhao is going to be enough of a threat for that. It also, again, like, the unspoken hero of this item purchase is that it increases the stun durations that you deal to other people. Winter in a lot of trouble.
He certainly is. Oh! Pops the Ghost, and that's just enough to make sure the Shockwave will not connect. So 3 members popping topside, a big wave to crash. Does have himself a TP to at least come back to the cannon. But if he TP's back in, given the posturing and the positioning of Pentanet, and with the vision that Legacy have, he has to sack that.
Right now, it's bottom lane of PGG that has to show respect as well, though, because they've revealed their hand topside. Sybil's going to move down, and it's Incursio moving with him that is the real threat. A level 11 Yone does have the potential. Just to quickly finish off my previous point as well, I think Tahm Kench having extra stun duration against an opponent in 1v1 is valuable. It's just worth pointing that out. So, like, while it is just a health item and can reduce damage taken by yourself, it also increases... Chat. What are you doing, Incursio?
Well, flash up in 20 minutes. That's what I'll be typing in ally chat right there.
Mid-F 2030.
An interesting one. Regardless, the bot lane dive continues as they get ever so close to foot of their first turret of the game. They're going to try and turn things around. Encore connects, but only onto BioPanther. Not the target Legacy we are hoping for. With 5 members committed to the tri-bush, they find nothing.
Yeah, a couple of ultimates thrown. A nice look in, but overall, PGG just going to pick themselves up the Herald. Chaz is going to make sure that Pabu has a faster time getting towards his jungle camps because he's just that type of mid laner. And you could say a bit of a dissonance angle for the DoorDash, yeah? He's going to go get that that top wave rather and collect what BioPanther's not going to be able to get. Is really what he's up to. Pretty calm game in general here you'd expect from PGG with how far ahead they are. You've even got Praedyth yawning on the cameras.
That was my next point exactly. Leaning back, reclined in the chair. Just another day, did he say, didn't that? It was just
games with
the boys. Absolutely. He's just playing Clash.
Probably not what he wants to. Okay, this is a biased opinion. You don't want Clash Praedyth playing on the LCO. I've seen Clash Praedyth. I've got players that could vouch for me. It's a very different beast to LCO Praedyth. Games with the boys is probably the most dangerous statement Praedyth will ever say out loud.
$6K gold lead. Pretty crazy to talk about, but this is kind of what you expect from a team that is now 9 wins in a row. Clean, methodical play from them. You heard from Charlie that they're going to look to basically play for these 2-item power spikes and then look to try and fully wrap things up from there. Well on their way to hitting that 2-item spike. Chaz, cool, calm, collected. He's going to cop a bit of a beating, but he's got his back up in his jungler. His Pabu comes on through, gets locked in place, dropped down to 50, hits the subjugate, and hits a chomp. Takes a little snack. As he can now take down the 3rd turret of the game. the assistance of a Herald.
That just absolutely chomps in Curzio. Not much more that he could do there. He was taking a 1v1 trade, and an even trade in that situation is decent, actually, for the Yone. Zonya's available for Chaz does mean that he was never going to use the ult. But the ultimate was used on Pabu. Pabu then stands and delivers flashes, by the way, to make sure it was secured. Herald going to get another charge off here.
Oh my gosh. May just be the most value you'll find with the Heralds. 2.5 turrets gone. And now side laning becomes a menace. Talk about value from going from there to Dragon to putting yourself into Soul Point and really looking to put a bow on it at this point.
I'm really enjoying the confident trading, though, from Chaz more than anything else. You know, it's not a case of I will 1v1 in Curzio. It's a case of if we trade half our health bars each, I have the team nearby. And that really is what it comes down to. It's playing for the team by dueling himself, as Praetor has chunked out Sybil.
Yeah, Bipepper can actually not join this one, so it will be a 4v5 if a fight were to break out. No, Pensnet not keen on that one whatsoever. Good Zonias cancelling out the Seraphine ultimate. Could have been a pick target and a turnaround opportunity for Legacy, but they're not going to be too concerned about that one, and we'll find strength elsewhere.
They're going to make them walk the long way back towards mid to catch this wave, and they're also going to show they're walking into the enemy red side jungle. So as a transaction, yes, you steal the dragon, but you kind of steal the dragon against the flow of the game, and you're going to lose a lot. So the sacrifice is a ridiculous amount of gold. Once again, Sybil finding himself with nothing to farm, and still across the board, PGG just winning slowly but surely more and more. They advance into the enemy side of the map. A nice steal from the dragon, and again does delay that obvious potential assistance of a win condition, I guess. This is the mountain overall. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all soul. But hey, they buy themselves more time to farm.
Enough so that now all the core components of the mythic items have been picked up by 4 members now of Legacy. The major strength points.
Jeez, look at this. Praetor, he's playing with fire, Sybil looking to kill him, but he's taken away all of his own jungle camps to stop a jungle trade. Yeah, PGG took the blue buff and they placed vision. You can see their vision. They took the red side, they reset, and then they took their own jungle to stop Sybil for like the past minute.
Oh no. Caught on that one, isn't it? Pillar into vision, into a fact of having to flash away. Now Bipep has separated the team. Burrow charges into 3 members. And Magnus Storm catching a place free despite the big turnaround for Legacy. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Amel could have fallen down as it becomes a 2-for-2. But can they find any more? He needs a shutdown, and he finds the shutdown as Winter means business with the Realm of Death. He's got the stats, he's empowered. But can he stay topped up and healthy? The Riftmaker working its charm. The Conqueror is there, but he has been conquered. Praetor with double buff, stays in rocket form, kiting from afar. The traps go down, but he doesn't need it, or does he? As Incursio lands the final kill.
Legacy just aced Bensonet.gg while down 7,000 gold, and they're still down 7,000 gold after getting all the shutdowns. That's how insane their combo was to be able to win that in the first place. And I mean, that's the highlight reel for Legacy. We'll see this again. Rel jumps in, Seraphine presses ult, Biopanther is the one who kicks this all off, but nuts combo from the Yone following through with the rest of the team. You know, from this point, that, like, if this was an even game, that was an instant ace. That's a montage moment. But how balanced is Tahm Kench, Skimmy? He's able to sit here for the next 30 seconds and deliver damage constantly. You know, they will get the trades. At the end of the day, it's going to be just Incursio that survives. That's what, a 4-for-5 trade? When down that much gold? It's just unheard of.
Unbelievable result there from Legacy. You can see it with a bit of a damage breakdown of that last team fight. The battle of the 2 AD components there, really putting in a solid amount of damage, 5k to be specific. Does beg the question now, what can Legacy do to bounce from that position? Knowing that they are strong, knowing that they can, you know, punch on with this strength, can they find themselves in a delayed state with side lanes and attention put elsewhere to get themselves enough gold to run it back and do it again?
I didn't honestly think we would get to see their composition play out how we just did, given how badly the game started for Legacy. But shades of brilliance once again. You know, we talk about Legacy, we say Sybil is the player that finds angles that shouldn't exist. It feels like PGG disrespected just a little bit too far there, and the whole team found that angle. So picking up where Sybil left off is the whole squad of Legacy. To show us the moments of brilliance, what the composition's capable of, and how they win themselves this game. Easier said than done to do that more than once. But they'll try, because they have to.
Certainly do. Big Rush must win for all three teams now. Peace, Legacy, and Gravitas. 24 games remaining. This would be a big upset. It's a big team fight win for them, given the goal deficit you highlighted. Start to wonder now how they can really look to try and run it back and do it again, because for Pentnet, they'll be quite content thinking, well, we still have a gold lead.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's quite simply, Pentnet.gg overexerted themselves just to try and force the fight. You know, they felt far enough ahead to go for it. Maybe they were, but they opted into an impossible wombo. So that's the really easily avoidable thing. I mean, that is the extremely avoidable part of the next fight that we see, is that you don't walk in blind or dash in blind to Legacy's waiting arms when they're playing into their own vision. So you can see all the wards that PGG have. That's really the game plan now. Just place regular wards down and don't suck, and you would be able to retain that lead. For Legacy, that would then mean they need to pull out an active Brilliant.
Isn't unheard from them, no. Now an aggressive team that will seize the moment when presented to them by a Panther. Not going to be phased by lack of vision in this occasion. He's a Tom Kench. Why would you be? 1v3, you can jump on through. Thick Skin is an insanely strong ability. Passive of active, it does it all. And it buys enough pressure on the map for PGG to invade and steal away a second red buff in a row.
Baron very easily on the cards here for them. Legacy are all in the area, so this is one of those moments. You'll see them try and clear their vision work in, and they'll see the Pabu and the rest of PGG are doing it. If you have a Lulu, pretty easy to tank it, right? You just get permanently shielded, you won't take much damage, so you can kind of force Legacy around the map. And I think right there, you know, we are only 24 minutes in, it's doable for PGG, and Legacy have now had to acknowledge that fact, and it will completely change the way that they play around the Rift. Much more respect gets to be shown. It opens up the map even more for PGG, just knowing that Legacy are going to be constantly hovering near the Baron.
Despite Sybil being locked in base on a reset and PGG starting off with that Baron, it was going to be a risky take regardless. Enough time for Legacy with their range advantage to pick a member off, lock them in place, and buy time for Sybil to rock up and try and do the smite steal. They just delay this game out, waiting for those all-important buffs, or at least that initial pick. So Vision, again, becoming the biggest talking point. Very hard for the likes of Star to try and step up in a mid-wave.
Yeah, and the gold lead is stretched. Once again, it was brought down to about 6,000, I think, after that team fight. It is continuing to just steadily expand a little bit more again. They bought enough space, for what it's worth, for Sybil to continue to get some farm, but he is the third lowest in this game, just above the supports. So, you know, not ideal. And just quickly as well, looking at support, Styled is playing the role of one in essence this game as well, but he's gone towards the Liandry's, which, you know, a bit more damage, but also has the ability haste passive, so lower cooldowns is a result of it. We've got teleports in.
Teleports in, looking to utilize that vision around the enemy red buff right now, sniffing at an opportunity. As the Xin Zhao ship certainly has passed, he's gone for the Gore Drinker straight into the GA. It's happened a few times where you become an alt bot. Look at the locking place, a key target. There's the start, and there's the Magnet Storm onto 3 members as they look to try and jump it through. Charm goes down, and Decoy's dead and deleted. It will be a 1-for-1. Once again, it's Winter. Rocks up to the team fight late. Can he even hit the Realm of Death? He drives by, realizes I'm already down to 30%. I can't do much about this one. Sybil has gone to the afterlife, and as he comes back out, slashes into Pabu, but falls on down. Unprotected 1v4. And with the jungler down and the Baron right there, PGG this time might be willing to make the trades.
I mean, Winter goes in and immediately Tokyo drifts his way out of there. There was nothing. He just gets smashed. His health suddenly gone. He's like, all right, well, we gave it a go. And Tom Kench, you know, I feel like I'm sick of talking about Tom Kench, and I think I've only done it 3 times. But it's because every time you mention that champion's name, it's for just being gross. And it really is. You know, saves the Jinx in that fight as well. You get to see this. The engage was good, but Praetor flashes at this time. The follow-up's still fantastic, and it gets them decoy. But Praetor comes in, and you can tell that they're all going to go for Praetor. So Biopanther just says no, have a 700 shield as well as a free disengage. they'll get the GA and they'll be able to win the fight. Once again, PGG take the same type of fight in a very similar place on the map, Skimmy, but they know what Legacy are looking for this time, and so they can deal with it and come out on top.
They certainly can. Clear identity as to what the opposition is looking to try and do, and as you put it quite beautifully, really. One Devour really prevents Legacy finding the dive pick that they were hoping for. Pabu's not done just yet, though. He's 7-1-4 as a Trundle. And feeling quite confident with a Baron buff to roam where he pleases.
That wasn't a very DoorDash pillar, though.
No.
He stuck himself on the other side of a ward, so he'll be upset about that one. Might cost him big in the running.
Sidesteps the grab. Now putting his attention on towards Sybil, who has no flash, has no GA, has no teammates as he pops his ultimate, but Trundle's inside the inner circle, laughing at them all, quite honestly, as the bomb goes out, but it won't evaporate Sybil, who still somehow survives. He clutched it on 10 HP. Winter has popped the ulti on towards Pabu, who's just going to wait things out. Far too big at this point in the game. The rest of PGG, they're not even interested, Rusty. They're going to crash the bot wave with the cannon, inspired and promoted to deal big damage. One inhib gone. Now looking to push it towards some turrets.
Desperate engage attempt here.
Certainly is. MLD the world. He jumps in with the Magnet Storm, the encore to follow. Big deceiving range. A shockwave to bring back 2 members. And that's enough to get the 2 main carries on PGG the kills. It opens the floodgates and it forces Legacy back to the fountain. There's an ace. At 29 minutes and 30 seconds, PGG have done it again. Their win streak remains intact. Now double digits at 10 wins.
Yeah, 29 minutes and a 13,000 gold difference. It never really felt in doubt there for Pensnet.gg. They will be able to get themselves a pretty easy victory in the end. There was that one fight where I'm sure they'll be feeling a little bit worse for wear about that one. They got smashed, and there was a chance it happened again, but you can't fool them with the same trick twice, it seems, and just a little bit too good on the day. Just a little bit too clean.
Too clean, as Jews would say.
Yeah.
Mac, what do you think about that game there? Because, I mean, we've seen now 2 games where the fans are both on board saying it's an 88% sweep to the side that won it, and both had a bit of excitement, but have been pretty convincing for the most part.
Yeah, well, look, straight out of the gates, Pensinet were really just pushing that one to him. I came back, I saw, ooh, 10 kills. Where'd that bloody come from? I think it might have been 7-0. But at that point, Legacy started to try to get back into the game, even though the kills said Pensinet were in the lead. Legacy started to try to force their hand. However, off the back of it, it was that little couple of moments, those couple of team fights as well, where Pensinet just looked that little bit better in terms of their positioning, team play, and then it seemed like they were never worried. They were just hitting a couple of speed bumps, it seems. Got the Baron, pushed through, and right at the end, of course, just got all the picks necessary to make that one happen. 5 minute live, and just making it look so damn easy. So again, Pensinet are going to maintain that spot at the top of the ladder, and I think this is the wrong time for congratulations because they're not in this game, but Direwolves, woo, they made playoffs.
Yeah, big moment for Direwolves, I'm sure. I'm not even sure that they were fully aware of that being a possibility in the coach interview.
Yeah.
They were just hoping they would make it, but yeah, here they are. They have managed to do it. But hey, PGG are going to give them a pretty good game of League of Legends to watch and say, you're making playoffs. Remember the top dog's right up there, right? You got to try and get through if you want to win, not just make it.
Well, that leaves only 1 position left, so it seems like all the rest of the games are just going to be playing for that 5th position. But again, Pensinet, big W, 13k gold lead in the end. Not quite the soul, but they didn't even need it. It was a sub 30-minute game, and they made it feel like 10 damn minutes as well. Very, very quick. Push down the bot lane to get it done, and what do you know? How's your father? Buck's your uncle? Who's your uncle? What's
Bob's your
saying?
uncle.
Bob.
Bob.
Oh, how do I forget Bob,
Buck's
mate?
your uncle.
Oh, Bob, I'm so sorry. Any Bobs in chat? Type 1. Now, I'm sure that we are going to get a post-game interview very shortly with some happy fellas. Well, there's one happy fella, one happy lady. Let's bring the lady back in. Nat T, how you feeling down on the sidelines after watching that one?
Good. It was a pretty good game. That turnaround fight for in favor of Legacy was insane. I would have loved to see that more consistently, I think, throughout the game. But it was, yeah, a really good watch. I absolutely loved it. I think they stepped up today because PGG are a hard opponent.
And who do you have for the winners interview?
I'm going to be chatting to Pabu and breaking down a little bit of this game. Thank you so much for joining me, Pabu. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel after that one?
Pretty tired, honestly. I kind of want to go back to bed.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a kind of one of those games. It was like, all right, weird things have happened, and then weird things happened in the other direction. So I was like, I was a bit confused as to how I killed their Xin Zhao and then killed their Yuan level 1, and then we get aced. So, you know, it is what it is.
Just a little bit of a weird one all around. What time did you wake up then? I have to ask.
Well, I don't know. I got up fairly early this morning, you know, standard like, you know, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock or something. I don't know, but I had a nap before the game because I just had a headache. But, you know, it was a bit like, I don't know, after the first 2 minutes of the game, I was like, oh, this is like being back to bed. Like, they're just kind of dying. Like, when Xin Zhao ran in and smited my crab and just died, I was so confused. I'm like, this gameplay is like not legal. Like, this is not what should be occurring. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard game to play. Like, they picked 10 melees into Trundle, so of course they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they did struggle for most of that until one of the fights we had. It was in between the mid lane and the Baron pit, where Legacy actually ended up acing you guys. Was there any worry after that fight, or were you guys pretty okay? You knew you were going to bounce back from it?
I mean, our comp's pretty unlosable into theirs. Like, we started this fight with a Lulu flash in, so I'm not sure it was the most optimal setup. It was definitely a bit of a send it, bit of a fat grief. So it was pretty unlucky. I mean, I guess, yeah, we weren't particularly scared of losing control. It's still a really easy game to play. Our comp scales well. We outrange them super hard. Like, it's hard for them to kill anything. We have Lulu, Tahm Kench, burst assassins. Like, it's pretty fine.
Apart from, obviously, like you've mentioned, that draft diff, what do you think was the key advantage or the main part of you guys taking the win tonight?
I think whenever you play against Sybil, you just have to be aware of what he's going to do, right? And whenever he's on the back foot, he doesn't really have much to do. So we put him behind level 1 with a late invade, and like, the game's not over, but it's really hard for him to play Xin Zhao, right? And then as long as we respect kind of the things that he's going to do against the flow of the game to try and find an advantage for himself, it's like pretty easy to play. So I think that like our lanes were just super respectful, and they never really got to engage like when we weren't expecting it.
It was a very strong performance from you guys over at Pentanet, and congratulations again for the win. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
There you have it. Always good to hear from the man, and I must say, he looks so good with short hair. However, the pink seems to be fading away a little bit. Did anyone else see that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen when your hair's that short. Like,
I guess so.
I dye my hair and it's growing out a lot. So if you have this much hair, it's going to go out in about 2 to 3 weeks.
True. I don't shave my head too often, so I don't, and I don't dye my hair too often either. So I'm not really the expert on that topic. Something I am the expert on, though, is deciding who the player that delivered was. And I'm not surprised. And it's this man. He's got green hair here, but he had pink hair, and now it's kind of not pink. But he's also very good in the jungle and very good on the Trundle. And he's got 80% kill participation. 16 kills he was involved in, 1 death on the board, but still it was only a 29-minute game, and he did a damn good job to get all these numbers, didn't he, Rusty?
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest with you, this is one of the easier decisions to make. I think Chaz played well, but ultimately Chaz was playing around the fact that Parbu was there, and Parbu was the one who gets the 2 kills level 1 when Legacy invades. So in part, Legacy played super aggressive and coin flip League of Legends, and the benefactor of this was always Parbu. And he's able to run around the map with a Trundle with 7 bazillion kills and just win the game there. So, you know, well played to Parbu. Definitely deserves the player that delivered, but he did have it handed to him a little bit.
Oh, wow. Well, look, if I got handed $100 and they said, hey, would you like this $100 to spend on DoorDash? I'd also say, yes, I would. So, look, we can't really say it was handed to him in that sense. But, look, we have one more game handed to you guys at home. Of course, it is going to be Peace taking on Gravitas. So make sure you strap yourselves in because we have Send It as we go to the break.
And there to empower a kill. 0-3 for Sybil so far. His ultimate is popped. He's immune to outside damage. Still not immune to running back on through to look to try and steal away a crab for himself. He'll take the ultimate curse of falling down for it. But he got vision, Rusty.
But he got the crab.
Caught on that one, isn't it? Pillar into vision, into a fact of having to flash away. Now Viper has separated the team. Byro charges into 3 members. And Magnet Storm catching a place free despite the big turnover for Legacy. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Ramel could have fallen down. It becomes 2-for-2. But can they find any more? He needs a shutdown, and he finds the shutdown as Winter means business with the realm.
No way it's Mark. You can't say it's Mark.
But I have to lane
Don't
with
leak
him.
the answers, man.
Mate, I'll leak you. How about that?
Writing.
I'm sick of you.
I don't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there it is.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be Jackson. No, it has to be Jackson.
No, I think Mark tilts more often, but doesn't tilt as hard.
Yes.
Yeah, but like Jackson, when he's tilted, it's actually over. Like he tilts like giga hard. Like there's no way.
But like I think.
Are you meaning in game or out of game?
Both. Like
Both?
Mark is like he gets tilted, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he's like a self-inflictor.
Yeah,
like
but I have
Jackson-
to lane with him, and if
Yeah.
he's tilted, then like I can't really
No, but
play.
the thing is,
and it
the
carries
thing is,
on.
if Mark is tilted, I can look at him and talk to him, yeah? When Jackson's tilted, I feel like I can't even talk to him.
Yeah,
it's
but,
actually some
like-
scary shit.
I think Jackson, like, if he's tilted, then you know he's tilted. But if Preyth will tilt more often, but like it doesn't. It's not that meaningful. If he's
Okay,
tilted.
yeah, well...
It's like less meaningful,
I'm
but it
still-
happens like more often.
I'm still gonna say
I swear
Jackson.
Jackson doesn't tilt that much. Though.
He does.
Oh,
Hey!
This is the. Do we even have to answer this?
no,
Do we
it
even have
is.
to answer this?
it's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's
Where
all the same. Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's Jesse.
That was the easiest one.
That shit has already happened.
No, that's happened all the time.
Yeah, that's every match day, actually.
Oh, I already know what this is going to be.
Do you?
Yeah.
Funniest person on the team. I don't want to put your name down just because you said that, honestly.
I think you're second.
It's because he's got a shit sense of humor.
Yeah, no, like I just love his sense of humor. I think that's the difference. I actually like his piss low trash humor.
This guy's 5th place on the team. So,
I'm on like the bottom, so like yeah. So
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I actually love
Like humor don't got humor. They don't,
The
you don't get
only
it.
reason these two are as funny as they are is because they talk a lot of shit. And as much as a lot of stuff misses,
Yeah.
there's also
A lot
some
of stuff
funny
hit.
stuff in there.
Nah,
so-
me and Freya bounce off each other like perfectly.
Yeah, they're like
This is
the
banger
same
after,
person.
It's banger after banger after banger. It's non-stop.
Yeah.
It's sick. You guys would have to see this scream sometimes. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's actually so good.